Okay, so we have questions, right? A lot of people have analyzed what this statement might mean. Maybe it means written note that there's a photo of. Maybe it means text note on the internet that was deleted. Some people are honing in on that last sentence because of our aggressive interview posture, which sounds an awful lot like we coerced a confession out of someone.
Debo encontrar la forma de sobrevivir a esta pesadilla. Quizá estas máquinas me ayuden a deshacerme de las malditas hordas.
Or did Scene Change drop that video audio? Homie's texting me. I bet it dropped that video audio. I still got audio, right? Y'all are still here with me? Because that's a weird fucking statement. That don't make no kind of sense. Whatever it means. So, we're told that Tyler enters the campus over here, comes through these parking lots. We're not exactly told how he got on the roof, but I feel like everyone is not noticing that there's a fucking staircase right here. Like, this staircase is designed to go up to this walkway, and this walkway, you're supposed to walk on this walkway. It's designed to be walked on to go over here into the building. Like, this walkway is an official walkway. It has a little fence barrier that's supposed to keep you from crossing over and getting onto the roof here. But, like, this stairway is open to the air. There's no key, there's no door, there's nothing. It's, like, very easy to walk up these stairs onto the roof. We don't have any video or photos of doing that, apparently. Even though our, buddies at the security camera right here can see this whole area. They would be able to see him coming up the stairs. They'd be able to see him going in over here wherever he went. And they would be able to see him going over here to lie down and take the shot. They would be able to see him taking the shot. And they chose not to show us. Okay? But he comes over here. He hides out on the roof somewhere, presumably, puts the rifle back together, makes sure the scope is all good, runs over, lays down, and remember, there was a video that we saw early on from down this walkway of a kid filming up past the corner of this building. It was like down here, filming up, and the video started after the guy had already laid down. He said the dude just ran up and laid down prone, right? And he was laying down right up here on this corner, right here. And so that cell phone video from an attendee somewhat confirms that the shooter, whoever the person was that was up here, ran up with an assembled rifle already ready to go, laid down, and then right after that, aimed, fired. One shot. Okay? Then, the other video that we have from inside the glass building, the glass windows across the way, over here, that video shows this person up and running this way across the roof. I bet that this is the little box thing that he was closing in on. It shows that happening right after the shot. Oh, you guys can't see my screen either. Here, I got you. Okay. Real quick, let me show you this one more time. I gotta hire a director. So we had a video from a kid with a cell phone here. The video where they saw someone laying down on the roof up here at the Velocity Center. And you can tell that this is the walkway they were on filming, because there's a little bit of this sign in the video, and he sees the guy laying right there. So we know that the shooter ran out, laid down, basically aimed and then fired right away. Generally right away. Got up and ran right away, okay? They're telling us that the screwdriver was right up here somewhere. I mean, they didn't specify right there, but they told us the screwdriver was found on the roof. They don't, maybe he disassembled, maybe he assembled and disassembled, maybe he just assembled. I mean, it's pretty obvious there's no time for him to disassemble the roof, or the rifle on the roof, based upon this video, based upon him running and already being ready to go and jumping off the building. Disassembling the rifle takes a minute or so, if you're fast. And then he jumps off the corner, runs over here, and the video, at the end of the video we got, he allegedly runs into these woods and stashes the rifle right here. And then, based on the text messages, he hangs around for all night long, waiting to try to retrieve his rifle or something. Okay. So then, among the many things that Candace did, she published this photo that was allegedly circulating amongst the neighbors and the locals. Allegedly taken by Dairy Queen, like internal security camera, at 6:38 p.m. So, long after the shooting, several hours, there's posts going around that have misconstrued it as being 17 minutes after the shooting. That is not when this photo was taken. This photo was taken allegedly at 6:38 p.m., assuming that it's real. And it's at this Dairy Queen that is 17 minutes away from Candace. Okay? So Candace is now canvassing the town of Orem for anyone with doorbell cameras, etc., to see if anyone caught video of his vehicle driving to the Dairy Queen. Because when you look at him, as Candace pointed out, this is kind of weird. He looks pretty chill. He doesn't even seem to know that he's on the run. He doesn't seem to know that he's wearing half of the shooter's outfit. He's in a half outfit. He's in the red shirt that was paired with light shorts, I believe. Whereas the man that we saw on campus, here, I'll just pull them up. This is the first photos that the FBI gave us, right? So he's still got the blue jeans on in this photo, it would appear. I don't have the, I didn't save the footage of the TMZ videos. Is it in this one? No. So this is a little puzzle, right? Because this looks like an unaware man. This looks like a dude that is killing time or something. People have been digging into this photo. The digging is not done yet. People notice that there's a Superman poster in the background that seems a little out of date, so there's a little bit of skepticism about the photo. There's people, they're trying to get people to go to this location right now to see the Superman poster in the background that seems a little out of date, so there's a little bit of skepticism about the photo. There's people, they're trying to get people to go to this location right now to the Superman poster in the background that seems a little out of date, so there's a little bit of skepticism about the photo. There's people, they're trying to get people to go to this location right now to see if they can corroborate this photo or not, if this poster is still up. This deal, I think, is allegedly still running, but we're figuring that. I wouldn't run with this as being confirmed yet, but it raises some questions. Some big questions. Because paired with Candace releasing this photo, she also alleged that the neighbors are gossiping, and she's in touch with them, apparently. You should really go watch her show from last night. I don't actually know if she streamed today. Did Candace do an episode today?
Esto traerá mucha desgracia al enemigo.
I was busy running around. Oh, she's about to stream? Homies. We're gonna have to wrap it up in here, dogs. Go see what she's about to drop. A picture worth 1,000 words. Oh, I know where that's going. Cool. So, in those rumors that the neighbors are circulating, Candace alleges that they're saying that the rifle was actually left beside this house, in like a chicken coopy kind of area, right behind this house. Allegedly. That is just rumors. It's not confirmed at all. And she refers to this house here as being owned by the college itself and being sort of a mysterious property. You know, I don't know what to make of all that. You can go and watch it yourself. But one of the most interesting things that came out of Candace's show recently is that she claims that she is talking with Lance Twiggs, the boyfriend's family. She claims that Lance Twiggs' parents are in direct communication with her, which already is raising alarm bells about the official narrative. Just the fact that they're talking to her. Not to mention what they're apparently saying about their son Lance. I'm not going to dig into it, but just be aware that's happening, and you should watch Candace to find out more. Let's talk about the SD card guy. There's been developments on this one that just came out today on Charlie Kirk's show, obviously without Charlie there. Tucker Carlson hosted the Charlie Kirk show, which we will talk about. But this guy, everyone's getting suspicious of this guy. Because A, he picks up the chair that Charlie has just died in the middle of a hot crime scene. This chair is probably covered in blood. And immediately he puts the chair there and gets up to take the SD card out of the camera, presumably. I mean, I've even seen people throwing out the theory that this is like some secret Mossad camera with a gun in it, that the camera shot him. It's like, okay. Like, no, like, I don't know. Like, anything's possible. But no, I don't think so. But whatever he does, he takes the camera down. He takes it over. He takes the SD card out of the bottom. He looks around, a little sketchy like. Okay. That's a little weird. It has just come out today on the Charlie Kirk show. Very well aware of the existence of evil, obviously. So were us on his team. You know, there's a, by the way, just one other conspiracy theory I just want to snuff out here. One of our dear friends that literally from the very beginning started with us and loved Charlie like a brother. He grabbed the SD cards out of the camera afterwards, and there's all these conspiracy videos about why did he grab the SD cards. Well, first of all, they're in the possession of the FBI. Okay, it's not like he took them and like ran off with them. That does not make us feel great, but anyway. Second of all, I asked him personally, I said, why did you do that? And he looked at me and this was his answer. He said, because I know people can be evil. So make of that what you will. I'm not trying to insinuate anything. It seems a little weird. Like, if I were in that position, I would be trying to download all the footage before giving it to the FBI, because you'll probably never see it again. But in my mind, the smoking gun so far that something is wrong here is the choice to not show us the footage that they clearly have because of their security camera that they did show us footage from that was mounted here on this corner. They chose not to show us footage of the shot being taken, even though they had it. Right? And then we have this whole combobulation of the rifle being assembled, disassembled, hidden in pants, jumping off of roofs, towels wrapped around it, dropped in the woods, all very fishy. We have no confirmation of this kid ever holding this rifle. We have not seen this kid with the rifle at all. Even though they theoretically have footage of him laying down shooting it that they could have released, that they clipped out intentionally. Right? one of the other really weird parts that still is just a huge red flag for me is George Zinn.
Earn up to 4.1% on your dollars, paid weekly. USDG is a stable coin pegged 1-to-1 to the dollar. Just hold it and get rewarded. Kraken makes earning on USDG easy.
Remember this guy? Yeah, we're not going to memory hole George Zinn. If you haven't seen the reporting on George Zinn yet, he was a witness to 9/11, and he called in a bomb threat right after the Boston Marathon bombing, and he just seems to turn up at all these nexus points in history. And I've made a couple of posts about this so far, saying that that is a spy. Like, that's the signature of a spy. You don't know for sure, but he's an old Ashkenazi Jewish dude in the least Jewish. That's the signature of a spy. You don't know for sure, but he's an old Ashkenazi Jewish dude in the least Jewish state in America. A dude gets shot in front of a giant crowd, and immediately his first response is to agitate and pretend that he just assassinated someone and to try to get arrested. Really? Like, really, bro? Is that the story we're running with? Because that is not a story. That's not a thing that people do unless you're part of a team creating a distraction in order for the real shooter to get away. Right? And then it further developed. He told the cops, "I shot Charlie Kirk," and he admits that he wanted to help the real killer escape, according to the Daily Mail. He then apparently had CP on his phone and is now charged for being in possession of CP. So that's awkward. That's a little awkward. There's a whole debate about whether or not Charlie was wearing body armor. Now all these videos are getting this content warning, which I don't know if I can manage to avoid the content warning, but I just wanted to share, this guy is, I think Zeb Boykin is his name, outside the Overton, his YouTube channel. He's getting a lot of followers for good reason. This video's gotten a lot of views lately because it's a good explanation. People keep wondering about what happened with Charlie's shirt. Charlie's shirt like pops up all weird right when he gets hit. And it's very hard to understand why that would happen. And Zeb has a, I think his name is Zeb Boykin. I'm going to call him outside the Overton, though, just to be safe. But he has this theory about Charlie's earpiece and the wire running into his shirt, and then it's actually grabbing the wire from his earpiece as the earpiece flies out of his ear. And it's a pretty decent theory.
Let's say you got it tucked in right here.
Right? So the cord would wrap around his neck, be clipped to the lapel mic,
He's sitting down,
and then wire down to his box on his.
It pops up, right? So you can see the cord is somewhat similar to where his is. Pulls it up. All his cords run down to the neck.
Right? And it makes this weird shape that people were interpreting as body armor. And maybe it is. I have gotten mixed responses on the body armor situation. I'm not really sure what to make of it. I've been told that Charlie was wearing body armor and that he has special body armor that is designed to look like your chest so that an assailant wouldn't realize you're wearing body armor, like some super sick ass special body armor that's like skin toned like hides, maybe. I don't know. I don't really trust that report, but I don't distrust it. I don't know how to know. But it makes a big difference for whether all these shooter from behind on his right theories are plausible or not. One thing that is worth mentioning that I don't know how to... Okay, I hope that YouTube won't kill us for this. I'm going to pull this back up. Listen, I am not a firearms expert. I'm definitely not a ballistics expert or a crime expert. But my understanding is that entry wounds where the bullet goes in are smaller than the diameter of the bullet, and they're often very hard to locate because they don't just start bleeding. Blood comes out the exit, not the entrance wound, right? And that's not a hard and fast rule. If it were to hit his body armor here somehow and like ricochet or like have, you know, dispersion of little flak and shrapnel, and something like that were to hit him, maybe it's different because it's more of a tear, it's not a bullet going in. Maybe. I don't know. But if it's a bullet hitting him, the blood comes out the back, not the front. And if the bullet were to hit him straight on, there'd be blood all over the back of like the tent, and there was not. So there's a lot of questions still about what exact kind of wound is this. And it doesn't help that there's not been any reporting at all on the autopsy that was theoretically conducted to the highest legal standard. And I would hope that Erica Kirk had her eyes on that autopsy, and that she knows, I mean, hopefully not literally on the autopsy, but you know what I'm saying, is like, hopefully that she's aware of how these things work and is aware of how this autopsy was done. Because we not only do not have any autopsy report, we also have all mainstream media and all official narrative building completely avoiding the topic of the autopsy altogether. No one's mentioned it. No one's mentioned the findings of it, or who did it, or anything about it. Even though that autopsy is very important, because we got an awful lot of credible theories that I'm not going to run through. You should watch Zeb Boykin's video, Outside the Overton, I was just citing, because he goes through frame by frame of the highest quality video you can find, and finds frames where it kind of looks like a bullet was captured by the cameras mid-flight, coming from his side. So far I've seen frames of the bullet behind him coming towards him, and then someone just today found a frame in one of the videos of the bullet apparently having, after gone through the neck and out the front, downwards, and there's a frame where they have it looking like there's a bullet that you can see in front of his leg on the way down to the ground. So it'd be like passing through down to the ground in front of him. Don't know how to say for certain. You're just gonna have to judge for yourself whether you think those are credible or not. I do think it's interesting that we're seeing things that look like bullets in multiple frames that line up in terms of their trajectory and timing and everything.
Introducing Bottle Slip, a limited edition colorway. Carry the spirit of exploration. Shop now at monos.com.
And people are doing acoustic analysis of the crack bang, of when you hear the crack bang, and there's a flash in the window that they're analyzing that kind of looks like a muzzle flash, and maybe it is, I don't know. And if you do the math for a rifle of this power firing at, you know, this velocity, how far away are you if the sound travels that fast? And this is, you know, the moment when you see the flash, and they're all kind of getting the same distance. They would put the shooter up on this roof like the official story has. But all of those crack bang analyses that I've seen so far are for the rifle that we're told he used. But if the shooter was down here, and if people are going to run with this theory that the shooter was somewhere over here, then you might be looking at a smaller round, a smaller gun, at a pistol, at something concealed, at something mechanical, at who knows. You might want to start doing calculations for slower velocities of bullets with that crack bang that people are doing over here. There are plenty of experts that have other opinions than Zeb, and you should look at their stuff too. Paramount Tactical put out one of the videos that the most people watched first, where he explains how plate armor works, and he explains how shrapnel can come off of a plate like this.
That we have some really.
And this video is definitely worth a watch from Paramount Tactical to give some credit to the theory that he's wearing body armor and it hits him in the chest, which is what you would be aiming for usually, and that a ricochet hits him in the front of the neck. I'm not super convinced by it at this point, but who knows? There's earpiece footage and questions going on. Shout out to Ryan Mata. Ryan Mata has been crushing the reporting on this story. Follow Ryan Mata for constant updates on this story. Ryan Mata Media on X.
Here's out there. We have absolutely 100% definitive proof that Charlie Kirk was hit from the front. There was no magic bullet. There was no second shooter. There was no side shot. There was no bullet flying through the air that somebody magically caught on a cell phone. So we got 30 frames per second. We know that thanks to the bearded puck who goes by @PuckBearded over on X. Check this out.
Jimmy, you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Right? So this is apparently his earpiece flying off.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
What you just watched there was Charlie Kirk get hit, and so much impact that his earpiece that he was wearing literally flies off backwards. Not to the side, not to the left, not to...
Okay? So the
Charlie Kirk get hit.
So this is apparently his earpiece flying off.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
What you just watched there was Charlie Kirk get hit, and so much impact that his earpiece that he was wearing literally flies off backwards. Not to the side, not to the left, not to...
Okay? So the earpiece flying off lends credit to Zeb Boykins or Outside the Overton's theory that the earpiece is what caused the weird shirt thing. But that being said, it's important to get multiple takes because this guy's analysis,
if he was more
Marcus J. Allen on YouTube, he's got a lot of analysis on various aspects of this. I don't agree with all of his analysis, but he seems to have his head on his shoulders at least.
could be author the video that
And he's talking about Zeb's video, and he's examining
invisible.
how invisible can earpieces get. Because then he does a great analysis of the video that we have, looking for an
If we
earpiece
watch the
in
footage.
Charlie's right ear.
Let me zoom in here. Look at this. Because I was thinking, well, maybe the footage is so grainy we just can't see it. But we can see it very clearly on his bodyguard. And I would imagine they invest in similar products and that Charlie would have the same type of thing close, right? But I don't see anything. I don't see anything. No earpiece. Zoom out. I'm looking.
So then it's like maybe he just hadn't put it on yet. But now he's like talking. Now he's got the microphone. This is during the event.
No earpiece.
Sure doesn't look like there's an earpiece.
But we do have a necklace. This and to the other YouTuber could be a recorder for himself of better than I do this. I'm not freaking, and this is really grainy.
Sure doesn't look like there's an earpiece.
I just don't see it. Maybe it's there. I don't see it. But we'll,
So then maybe, he says maybe that thing that flies back is his necklace. Maybe his necklace breaks and it's his necklace. Right? Who knows? Jumping off the roof. Body armor. Okay. So, there's a lot of theories flying around that covers a lot of the ones that are the most...
As I handle, we sort packages as they coming down the slide. After sorting them, we place them on the conveyor belt with the label face up. If the label isn't faced up, they do not get properly scanned. They go down to the excellent slide and the whole process again. In the beginning, it was challenging, and I say it was challenging because when I first started, freight came down so heavy. But
credible at this point in my mind. There's obviously a lot of analysis of people that look like they're doing signals and spotting and stuff right next to Charlie, but that's like, I don't. That's like Pizzagate looking for pizza symbols. It's like, yeah, you might be right that maybe the symbols mean things. But like, how are you ever going to prove that? How are you ever going to run with that theory? You know? So I'm trying to look for things that are more concrete. Like them purposefully cutting out the part of the video that they clearly had of him taking the shot, allegedly. That's very weird. As well as the evidence we have on video of what actually happened when Charlie got shot, and what can we infer from all that. Okay? And I mean, call me crazy, but right now, that story is not adding up. At all. There's no credible evidence in my mind that Tyler Robinson ever had this rifle on that campus. Even though we have evidence to suggest that they should have evidence of it, that they could have showed us. We have a very confused timeline around the rifle, the outfits, kind of the whole entry, exit, everything. And it's confounded by the video content put out by regular people, which they did not have control of. That's one thing to think about, is what came from organic sources that they didn't control, as far as we know, and what came from the controlled narrative space that could have been used to shape the narrative. Because what they did not control is where you find the things that poke holes in what they tried to control, if it is a cover-up. Then we have this weird old Jewish man clearly trying to help someone escape by his own admission. And then we have all the weird statements about the timeline and the events and the text message, admission of guilt, and the whole boyfriend story. That all does not square with the left or the right or just about anybody. And so, when you have one of the largest political people in America assassinated on live TV, your first thought should be, was this a professional assassination? And it's not necessarily. There are definitely crazy kooks that take shots at people. Usually, the crazy kooks seem to get an arsenal of guns and go into a school and go on a suicide mission, essentially. And, you know, murder a bunch of people and then take their own life. That's what usually seems to happen. Not usually are they planning out a carefully orchestrated hit that involves them getting away clean and then giving a whole text message admission of guilt on regular old texts. Like, right? And so, we have more than enough evidence to be asking the question, was there intelligence agencies involved in this? Way more than enough evidence to ask that question legitimately. And when you start asking that question legitimately, that's how you get to the Israel conversation. And the Israel conversation is not one, no one is claiming at this point that anyone knows for sure that it was Israel. Okay? Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, all of the right-wing commentators that are involved in this conversation, that were involved in Charlie's life and the scandal around the Israel stuff, none of them have at all made the claim that Israel was involved in this in any way. I have made that claim, because I'm not involved. This is not my case to solve. I was not involved. I didn't know Charlie. I was not involved in Turning Point. I'm staying out of it. I am a dude on the sidelines looking in. I've purposely not asked Candace for any inside information. I've not tried to dig into, like, get fucking a bunch of sources and stuff, because I don't want to get in. I don't want to get in there. This is not my thing, and I'm not involved. And I'm perfectly happy to speculate, because right away I was asking, is an intelligence agency involved? And a very quick assessment of the scene, of the responses, of what happened on the ground, of Charlie's position in American politics, and the first suspect seemed clear to me. I would argue that since day one, we have gotten more and more and more evidence that maybe we should be looking in Israel's direction. But just a quick primer on why maybe looking in Israel's direction would be appropriate. They have an entire Wikipedia page dedicated to the list of Israeli assassinations. And the reason why they have that, broken down by decade, is because Israel is the world's foremost assassinator. They're the best at it. They do it the most. And they've done it a whole bunch of times just in the last year. One of those was like hundreds of people being assassinated using pagers, with an operation that spanned like a decade and more. I think I'm exaggerating a little bit, but right, like the Israeli intelligence services.
Interior defined. Why settle on a sofa made for everyone else? Customize yours with multiple lengths and depths. hundreds of fabrics and so many legs to choose from, so it feels uniquely yours. Order free swatches at interiordefine.com.
Are exceptionally good at assassinations, okay? So, in light of that,
Arca put all those things out there.
yeah.
How did these guys not know this was taking place?
So I'm in Israel. This is Charlie Kirk speaking right after October 7th, within 1 week of October 7th on the PVD podcast about what happened on October 7th.
Many times, the whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that's an IDF soldier. Right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands.
Whoa. We're going to cut that right there. Let's not talk about, the entire nation of Israel protesting against Benjamin Netanyahu. Charlie, you're supposed to be Benjamin Netanyahu's favorite friend, okay? Just to be clear. That's a little spicy to say, Charlie.
Explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the #1 funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like,
that is a pretty based take. That's a topic that, though I have researched and seen evidence of, it's very technical, and it's very easy to come across as though you're trying to say that like all Jewish people are evil, because it's not. It's a very nuanced criticism of whatever the hell is happening in America right now.
El futuro pende de un hilo. Despierta a los sujetos de prueba. Richtofen, no sé qué estás pensando hacer, pero no lo hagas. No querrás ver lo que hay al otro lado de esa puerta. No puedes imaginar siquiera el gran mal que podrías desatar. Creía que me había librado de ti. ¿Qué puedo decirte? Las cosas cambian. Solo un necio sabría cambiar la historia. No soy tonto. Lo que hago, lo hago solo para asegurar. Sí, ya veremos si vivimos para verlo. Situación. El punto de inserción dimensional no era correcto. Llegamos tarde. Richtofen interrumpió la continuidad establecida.